So out on India's remote Andaman Islands, you've got these two worlds existing right next to each other. One is thousands of years old, a world of deep, deep forest knowledge. And the other, it's a world of regulations, commerce, and paved roads. We're going to dive into this really fragile and often clashing balance between an ancient, isolated tribe and the modern rules that are closing in on their home.
You know, this quote from UNESCO, it gets right to a really crucial point. The Jarawala aren't just living in this incredible environment. In many ways, they are its guardians. For centuries, their fierce protection of their home is what kept developers and poachers out. But now, as that isolation starts to crumble, the stakes for both the people and the land, well, they couldn't be higher. Okay, so first up, let's try to wrap our heads around the world of the Jarawala. I mean, just imagine a life with no clocks, no calendars, a life shaped entirely by the rhythm of the seasons, the forest, and the sea. For millennia. Let that sink in for a second. The Jarawala have been the masters of their domain. We're talking about a history that's not written in books, but in this intimate, unbroken connection to their environment. This is a society that thrived for generations, with absolutely no need for the outside world. This is where it gets really fascinating. See, the Jarawala don't just look out and see a forest. Their mental map is way more sophisticated than that. They see 5 distinct resource zones, each one from the Piliot, the seashore, all the way to the Tinon, which is the dense, hilly forest. Each one provides specific things at specific times. It's like this complex, living blueprint of their entire ecosystem. And this idea of a resource basket, I mean, it just perfectly sums up their self-sufficiency. It's incredibly diverse. You've got the wild pig, their main source of protein, then honey, turtle eggs, countless tubers and fruits. They literally have the knowledge to turn the forest into their pharmacy, their hardware store, and their grocery aisle all rolled into one.
Okay, now get ready for a total 180. Because on the very same island where the Jarawala live by the laws of nature, a completely different world is operating. A world of formal, bureaucratic rules, commerce, and government regulations.
Just listen to that language. Tourism service provider, remuneration. It's a world of legal definitions and paperwork. The contrast with the Jarawala's 5 resource zones couldn't be more stark. One is organic and ancient. The other is structured, legalistic, and, frankly, completely alien. And this right here, this is the machinery of that other world. It's a rigid process, right? Applications, registrations, compliance, penalties. This whole system is built on concepts like private ownership, profit, and state control, ideas that are completely, utterly meaningless in the Jarawala worldview.
So, how do these two completely different worlds collide? Well, the answer is literally concrete and asphalt. It's a road that cuts right through the heart of this story.
The Andaman Trunk Road, or ATR. Here's the key thing. It wasn't built around the Jarawala Reserve, it was deliberately built through it. The main goals were to connect non-tribal settlements and to make it easier to haul timber out of the forests. So from the very beginning, it was an invasion. And this isn't some quiet little country lane, not by a long shot. Just look at these numbers. On any given day, you've got 50 buses and trucks rumbling through the reserve. It's a constant river of noise, people, and pollution flowing into a world that was, until very recently, completely sealed off.
So who are all these people? Well, take a look at this breakdown. More than 2/3 of them are either government and private workers or tourists. Remember those tourism service providers we just talked about? This road is their world, intersecting with the Jarawala's for reasons, work, vacation, that are completely external to it.
And get this is a really critical piece of the puzzle. This isn't just an environmental and cultural cost, it's a financial one. The Indian taxpayer subsidizes every single passenger trip on this road to the tune of over 700 rupees. This is an expensive, state-funded intrusion.
And you know, this isn't some new controversy. As far back as 1991, a top official called the road a cardinal folly. So even within the administration, there's been this deep understanding for decades that this road was a profound mistake with some really severe consequences.
So, all of this brings us to the inevitable consequences. I mean, what happens when you force 2 totally incompatible worlds to meet? The results, as we're about to see, are often just devastating. This quote just captures that sense of violation perfectly. A public thoroughfare through one's private courtyard. Seriously, just imagine a highway being bulldozed right through your backyard, with strangers constantly passing through. That is the daily reality the HER has created for the Jarawa.
This is where you see the fundamental, cultural disconnect. For the Jarawa, their territory is one continuous landscape. So taking resources from a settler's plantation over on the East Coast is no different than accepting gifts from people on the West Coast. But to outsiders, one is friendly contact and the other is a hostile raid. This huge difference in perspective is at the root of so much conflict.
And the price of this contact has been absolutely devastating. The Jarawa have no immunity to outside diseases, so epidemics like measles have just swept through their population. Poachers use the road to get in and deplete their food supply. It's enabled these shameful human safaris where tourists gawk at them like they're in a zoo. And tragically, this forced contact has cost lives on both sides. This quote, wow, it just cuts right to the heart of the conflict, doesn't it? From a purely developmental point of view, the Jarawa and their protected reserve are seen as an obstacle, an inconvenient annoyance that's just standing in the way of agriculture, settlement, and profit.
So where does all this leave us? Well, with a deeply uncertain future, where officials and advocates are struggling to figure out a path forward that somehow respects both of these worlds.
And this really is the ultimate question, right? Who should decide their future? The government, international bodies, or should the Jarawa, a people who have successfully governed themselves for thousands of years, have the final say in their own destiny?
I mean, on paper, the official policy objectives look admirable. Protect them, preserve their culture, conserve the environment. But actually implementing these goals while a major highway is running through their home and while powerful commercial interests see their land as an untapped resource, well, that's an immense challenge.
So, in the end, it all comes down to this one really tough question. When one world operates on ancient, unwritten rules of ecology and community, and the other operates on written laws of commerce and property, can they truly coexist on one small island? There's no easy answer, and the future of one of humanity's oldest cultures is literally hanging in the balance.
Enjoyed this video? Please like, share it with a friend, and press the bell icon to never miss an update.